Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're doing another R&R video reviewing and rating all the different games I've been playing in the past 2 weeks with friends, family, and even solo. And I want to do a big shout out to someone before we get started with that, and that is to Michelle, who is the owner of the Magic Meeple Board Game Cafe in Fargo, North Dakota. I got to sit down and play games with her for a day and a half last week. And it was just a wonderful experience. She's a wonderful person. She runs a great store. She's very passionate about games. She got to show me a couple games that I've wanted to play for a long time, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And a few of those games are on this reviews and ratings today. The games that I'm not going to talk about, because I've talked about on previous R&Rs, I played Sagrada a couple times solo. Good little solo game. Really fast when you're playing solo. 20 minutes maybe. Played Unmatched. I played the new Unmatched set, Battle of Legends Volume 2. I did my review of that on the previous video if you want to check that out. Spoiler alert, it's good. I love Unmatched. So I played Ecosystem, a small little drafting game. It's a Wonderful World I played a few times, which is another drafting game, and it's become my game group's almost favorite game. Everybody seems to love that game. So we play it every single week now. Onitama I played once again. That's a little chess abstract game, almost. Floriferous, a beautiful little game by Pencil First Games. Like that one a lot. Atlantis Rising, a cooperative worker placement game that uses dice. I really like that one quite a lot. Played Aquatica again, and I played that one solo. I always forget how fast that game is when you're playing solo as well. And I played Cubitos finally again. I hadn't played it since the beginning of the year. Finally got it onto the table again with my friend. Nice little dice building game. Super neat. Check that out if you haven't. And finally, I played Anno 1800. And I have never reviewed it, but I'm going to save that review for another time. But hey, it's a really good game. With that being said, let's jump into our actual games we're talking about this week, starting with Pier 18. Pier 18 is a simple 2 to 3 player card game with only 18 cards in it. You'll be drafting cards and building a pier. Each pier card has several symbols on it and will matter how you lay your cards out. You can overlap part or none of your previous card on your pier, extending it out. You will score points in different ways for each of your symbols and final objective cards. This is a very, very simple, very fast, pocket-sized card game. I like it, and I'll get a 7 rating, but it could be much higher. The reason being is these type of pocket-sized games are tailor-made for solo play, and this game especially, and it is yet to have a solitaire mode. So I enjoyed it, but I think I would like it a lot more as a solo game than multiplayer, so I think if it did get a solo mode, it would jump up a point or so. Moving on to some more small games, starting with The Mind Extreme. The Mind Extreme is a sequel to The Mind. The Mind Extreme, as you would expect, ramps up the difficulty of the original. So this is a cooperative card game where players will be dealt cards numbered 1 through 50 in either of 2 colors. You will try to, and without speaking at all, lay these numbers down in one color going up in ascending order and the other color going down in descending order. Whereas the original just had one color numbered 1 through 100 and you laid those cards down in ascending order. I actually do enjoy The Mind on occasion. It's one of those games that tends to blow people away. I rate the original Mind a 7, but this one's just going to get a 6 for me. I don't play The Mind enough that I needed it to ramp up the difficulty like this. Next we have The Game Quick and Easy. The Game Quick and Easy is another sequel to The Game. So the last game I talked about made the sequel harder. The Game Quick and Easy made the original game even simpler. You will have 2 piles that have to be laid in ascending and descending order, and this is a cooperative game. On your turn, you have to play at least one of your cards on a pile in a legal move. All the cards are numbered 1 through 10 in different colors. You can cheat the system and break the rules of ascending or descending order if you lay the same colored card as the top of that pile. Your goal is to lay down all the cards of the deck. If you do, you win. This is going to get the same rating as the original, which is a 6.5. It's a good gateway style game, but not one I will break out too often. Now let's take a look at Battle for Rokugan. Battle for Rokugan is a game I had never heard of before this week when a friend brought it to game night. This is an area control game where players take control of clans, trying to conquer the realm better than all the other clans. Players will take turns putting down tokens to either protect their lands, conquer others, or a few different assortment of actions in order to try and claim the majority of their regions. All these tokens are laid face down. Once every player has laid down 6 tokens, the round ends and you flip over all the tokens to reveal the different actions the players are doing. If a player has the most strength in that region, they gain control of that region. You will get points for controlling the different regions at game's end. Most points wins. I was very surprised by this game. I've only played this once so far, but I'll give it a 7.5 rating with room for growth or fall. I just really enjoyed the sort of bluffing that players can try and pull off, and the actual overall atmosphere this game provides. Moving on to War Chest. War Chest is an abstract strategy game that uses a bag building mechanism. The goal of the game is to get all of your control markers onto the board to win. To begin the game, each player gets their army, which consists of different troops with special abilities. The troops are all these nice poker chips. You put 2 of each of your troops into a bag and place the remaining ones into your supply. You draw 3 troops each round and take turns taking actions till all 3 troop tokens are gone. On your turn, you will use your tokens to either recruit troops from the supply, deploy troops, move a token, attack with a token, take control of a location, use a special ability of your troop, or to just simply take initiative for next round. Once a player places all their control tokens down, they win the game. This is a very interesting abstract strategy game because there is more luck involved in this game than a usual abstract game of this type because of the drawing tokens blind from the bag. I'm giving this game an awesome rating of 8.5. I was kind of worried I wouldn't enjoy it as much with the luck factor of this game, but it just kind of increased the tension and drama of it, and it is quick enough of a game, being 30 to 45 minutes, where it didn't bother me. Next, we have a Stonemaier game in Red Rising. Red Rising is a game based on a popular series of books of the same name, a book series that I absolutely love and highly recommend. Also, this game's mechanics are also based on a card game I also love, Fantasy Realms. In this game, you will have a hand of cards, and all these cards will combo with each other in your hand as score points. Like this card is worth 20 points, but you'll get 10 more points if you have this other card also in your hand. On your turn, you will lay a card down in one of the 4 districts, take any special actions that card has, and then pick up a card from another district and take that district's special ability, which is things like getting a gem, getting more influence, moving up on the fleet track, or getting the sovereign token. Once 3 of the endgame conditions are met, all players get 1 more turn, and then you will lay out your hand of cards and add up all the points on your cards and hopefully getting some neat combo points. This game has gotten a bunch of hate online, but I thought it was a really good game, giving it a 7.5 rating. I don't like it as much as Fantasy Realms, but if you're looking for a game similar to it, but just a little more complexity, this is one I'd recommend, and one I'm excited to play more, especially that it has all the characters from the Red Rising series. Moving on to another 2021 game in Furnace. Furnace is a fast bidding and engine building game that was nothing like what I expected. There are 2 distinct phases to the game. The first phase is the auction phase, which you will have 4 tokens numbered 1 through 4 to use. You will take your turn by placing one of your tokens on one of the several laid out cards. Once all players have placed their tokens, you see who won the cards. If you have the highest bid on a card, you get to add that card to your tableau of cards, adding to your engine. If you didn't win though, you get to take the resources or actions of that card however many times the number you bid on that card, which is a very interesting mechanic of you want to lose some bids sometimes, but with a high bid token so that you can get a lot of resources out of it. After that phase, you go to the production phase, in which you use your cards you have won in any order you wish, and those cards will either produce more resources for you or it will have some kind of process action, which you will use to trade your resources for other resources or points. You play 4 rounds, most points wins. I'm giving this game an 8 rating, and I was so surprised by how fast this game is, taking only about 45 minutes to play. It is so fast and rewarding, and is definitely one of my favorite games of the year. Checking out now the very popular game, Quacks of Quedlingburg. I finally got to play Quacks of Quedlingburg for the first time last weekend. This is a push your luck game where you are building a bag of tokens that every round you will buy new tokens to add to it. Each round you pull out tokens from your bag one at a time and place it on your board. Any gray tokens you pull out counts against your total you can pull before you bust. If you go over a total of 7, your pot has busted, and you will be rewarded less than a normal round. After all players have either decided to stop or have busted, you will buy new tokens to add to your bag, and your buying power will depend on how far along the track you got, as well as how many points you earned that round. The new tokens will have different abilities and effects when placed during a round. After so many rounds, whoever has the most points wins. I'm giving this game an 8.5 rating, and I finally got to see what all the hype was about for this game. So if you like the push your luck mechanic, this is right up there with the best of them, if not the best. Moving on to a hospital-themed game in Dice Hospital. Dice Hospital is an interesting worker placement game revolving around treating patients, which are dice. Each round, players will get to draft which patients will come into your hospital. Low-numbered patients are very sick, and high-numbered are relatively healthy. If you take the dice with the lower numbers, you will get to draft earlier in the next phase. The next phase, you can either take new specialized doctors to help you, or get better rooms to add on to your hospital to help heal patients faster, which causes a very interesting choice because you always want more doctors to use, but you also need better rooms to help them. After this draft, players will place out their workers onto their player boards, trying to heal their dice to above a 6 to release the patients and score points. Or if those patients get sicker and fall below a 0, you will lose points. I'm giving this game a 7.5, and I will admit I didn't really have any interest to play this game, but it really snuck up on me, and it gives you a lot of hard choices in this game that I was amazed by. Finally, our last game of the week, Super Mega Lucky Box. Super Mega Lucky Box is a very simple flip and write game. Each player has cards that have a grid of numbers on them. You will flip a card and mark off one of those numbers on your cards using a bingo mechanic. Whenever you finish a column or a row of numbers on a card, you will get some kind of bonus, like marking off more numbers, getting lightning bolts, which will let you manipulate numbers, moons, which will give you points if you have the most at the game's end, or stars, 4 points. You will also score points for finishing cards. This has been one of the big surprise hits this year with a lot of people. I'm going to give this game a 6 rating. I don't think this is a bad game by any means, but I'm not sure why this is the game that took off when we've seen dozens of flip and write games do very similar things. I would suggest it if you like really light games, but it wouldn't be one I would pull off the shelf as often as other people. And that will wrap up today's reviews and ratings episode. Have you guys played any of these games I talked about today? If you have, did you agree? Did you disagree with some of my opinions? One game that I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me is Super Mega Lucky Box, but that's not a big deal. We all have different opinions. That's the beauty of gaming. Either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.